What's up, BF fam? This is Big Tone coming at you from Big Tone Productions, Beats and Feasts. Hey guys, we're gonna do two of my favorite dips today. We're gonna do a guacamole my way, and we're also gonna do a spinach artichoke dip. I never ever really liked guacamole until I tried it a little chunkier and with a little bit more heat, and now I love it. And then the spinach artichoke dip, hey guys, I don't even like spinach, and I don't like artichokes, but when I put them together with cheeses, I can eat it all day long. But before we get started with this video, guys, I need you to do me a favor and smack that like button, comment and subscribe, share the video as much as you possibly can. And oh, and by the way, turn on your notifications. I post a video every single Friday, and I will try to do two. I will also try to do a restaurant review, guys. But that's not promised, but I will try to do that restaurant review. But let's get started with, I forgot. There's gonna be a very special surprise announcement at the end of the video. So I definitely need you to watch this all the way to the end, and you'll find out what the surprise is. But let's get started with this recipe. All right, guys, so to start this video, I'm gonna give you my supporting cast here. Basically, we're gonna use some avocado, probably about half of an onion. We're gonna use one lime, a jalapeno, some tomatoes, a little bit of cumin. It's kind of my special touch. I think some people do like the cumin in there. Some black pepper and some salt. Now, I always use Himalayan sea salt, but didn't have any this time, but I promise it will be back on the menu next time. And minced garlic, and this is a little bit of pre-cut cilantro, okay? So to get this started, we're gonna simply just take the avocado out, or cut it in half. And if you guys have cut into an avocado before, you know it's got a seed in the middle. So we're just gonna separate it. These must be a little bit unripe, so they're a little bit harder to separate. All right, and then take out the seed here. Yep, this one's a little tough. Discard the seed. I'll do the other one too as well. And also, you guys, this has a little stem in it. That's usually how I can tell if they're just about ready to be used, is that the stem will pop out real easily. But the other way is you can just push on and see if it indents itself a little bit. But we're gonna open this one up. And we're gonna take out the seed again. All right, and most people will just go ahead and scoop it out like this. I don't necessarily do that. I score it all the way down, then I go across, and it leaves it in nice little chunks. I don't have to mash as much when I put it in the bowl. Let me do all of them first. And then watch your hands when you do this, if you got a sharp knife. All right, and then I take my knife or my spoon and I will scoop it out at that point. And then you get all this nice meaty avocado flesh from the inside. And we're just gonna simply discard the rest of it. And we're gonna do the other ones. All right, guys, so there we go. All the avocados are in. Let's get rid of this little residue that's left over here. All right, the next thing that I add is a little bit of onion. I'll probably end up using about a half of this half. I usually just eyeball it. Depends on how much guacamole I have, of course. But usually it's about a half onion. Cut up a little bit more just to make sure. All right, so we're just gonna scoop that up and put it in with the avocado. All right, guys, the next thing I'm gonna add is my jalapeno. I don't de-rib it, I don't take out the seeds. I like it with that heat, okay? So I'm gonna cut up a half of this here real quick. I'm gonna put the whole thing in here, but I'm gonna show you the half. All right, just turn it around. And I diced this pretty small. This to here. And I'll be right back and show you the rest of it. All right, guys, so next up is the tomato. I like to use Roman tomatoes, Roma, I guess is pronunciation, but I don't get out the seeds in the middle like some people do. I leave them in there. A lot of people take it out because it makes it watery, but I like it in there, so I'm keeping it. So we're just gonna dice these up. I use a lot of tomatoes in it because I like that coolness and I like that flavor against the guacamole. So we're gonna dice up a couple of these tomatoes. And I can't express enough, guys, how important it is to have a sharp knife in the kitchen. A dull knife makes your work twice as hard and also makes it twice as dangerous. You're easily gonna cut your finger if you got a dull knife because you gotta work harder. So make sure your knives are sharp, especially doing tomatoes. Tomatoes are hard to cut when you have a dull knife. All right, one more second here. Let me cut this up. I know this part is somewhat boring for you guys, but I got to get the tomato in. All right. The next thing that we're going to add is a little bit of lime. Lime does a couple things. It keeps it from turning green as fast, or sorry, turning brown as fast. It also keeps it from, or it keeps it a little bit, it gives it that freshness to it. So we're gonna do that here. Now, when you do the lime, a lot of people don't do this, but make sure you roll it. It's gonna loosen the seeds up, loosen the juice up, okay? So roll it out a little bit. You can feel it getting a little bit smushy, and also it smells a little bit more. So we're simply gonna cut this in half. All right, let me get my handy dandy lime zest, or lime squeezer, I should say. We're gonna put that in there, and then we're gonna put the other one in there as well. So a whole lime is what I put in it. You can also use lemon too. I don't prefer lemon. You know, it's just acid, so it's gonna be the same difference. All right, the next thing I'm gonna put in is a little bit of cilantro, okay? All right, guys, so I love cilantro. I love the taste of cilantro. So I'm gonna mix this up real quick. And as you can see, my guacamole is a lot more chunkier. It's a lot chunkier than a lot of what you see. It's almost like a pico de gallo, but it will break down over time with that lime acid, and the cilantro breaks it down the avocado. So one more moment, let me mix this up for you. And then we're gonna add our spices. All right, guys, so I'm gonna put in about a half a tablespoon of cumin, ground cumin. And this always has trouble coming out, so we're gonna put a little bit of this in here. There we go. About a half a tablespoon of ground cumin. Now, we're also gonna put in, let me wipe this off. Let me wipe my spoon off here. And we're gonna add about a tablespoon of garlic, minced garlic here. All right, guys, and we're really gonna do all of these to taste, because once I mix it up and taste it, I'll know the difference. And I think you can kind of see, maybe you can, the avocado's starting to break down and get not so chunky. It's also breaking down to a little bit more of a paste. Not a lot. I still like it chunky. All right, guys. Now our final touches are black pepper. I don't put a lot of black pepper, just a little bit. And then I also use my salt. Now this is just regular old table salt, but normally, like I said, I always use my Himalayan sea salt. All right, so a little bit of salt there, and we're gonna continue to mix it up. Let me get rid of this onion out of your way. All right, so you can see it's starting to loosen up a little bit here. All right, so there we go. It's a lot more chunkier than what you're probably used to. All right, guys, so there we go for the first dip that I love. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a taste test here and see what the spices are like, and I'll add a little bit more if I need to. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. If I had my own choice, it'd be a little bit hotter, but I'm gonna leave it like this. It's not very hot at all. All right, guys, so we're gonna move on here. I'll get you some final pictures here in a minute, but we're gonna definitely move on to the spinach artichoke dip, okay? All right, guys, so the spinach artichoke dip is, you know, I don't really like artichokes. I don't really like spinach, but when I put them together with the different cheeses, I can eat this all day long. But I'm gonna show you my supporting cast here. The first part, and really the most important part, the artichokes. That is roughly about 12 ounces of artichokes. You can buy them at any store. Doesn't matter what flavor they are. I don't think the flavor makes a difference, but that's just some regular generic artichokes. This is frozen spinach. The frozen spinach seems to work better in this dish than fresh spinach. Of course, if you like spinach, the fresh might work better for you, but the frozen works really well. Very easy, very convenient. Then I have a half a cup of onion. The recipe that I will be posting calls for a half a cup of onion powder, but I'm using real onions instead. Then we got garlic, cream cheese, sour cream. This is the kicker. I didn't really understand this, but when you put it in there, it's really good. Miracle Whip or just mayonnaise. Then I have some chicken broth. Then I have Parmesan cheese, mozzarella cheese. Okay, so it's very simple, very flavorful. So we're gonna come back. I'm gonna show you how I add this to the pressure cooker, and then we'll cook it up. All right, guys. To start, basically, I'm just gonna start by putting my onions in the pressure cooker. By the way, I'm using the Power Pressure Cooker XL. I'm putting in a half a cup of onions. Like I said before, the recipe actually calls for a half. I believe it's a half a teaspoon of onion powder, but I'm using regular onions. But you'll see that recipe there, and I'll put the regular onions on it. So the next thing I'm going to add is, I believe it's a half a cup of chicken broth. It's just regular old chicken broth, okay? I may add a little bit more later. And then I'm putting a whole block of Philadelphia cream cheese. I can't express more how much I only use Philadelphia. That other cream cheese, yes, cheaper, but doesn't have the same flavor. All right, guys, the next thing I'm gonna add is my artichokes. These are just regular artichoke hearts. Regular artichoke hearts, but I have chopped them up just a little bit, very coarse chop, okay? They break down, of course, when you cook them, but I put a little bit of a coarse chop on this. Next thing is the frozen spinach. Guys, when you do the frozen spinach, it comes with a lot of water in there. So you got to what I do is I put them in a paper towel and I squeeze the excess water out, okay? All right, the next thing we're gonna put in is about a tablespoon of garlic. All right, just about a tablespoon. That may be a little bit over, but you know me and measuring. All right, the next thing is going to be a half a cup of sour cream. All right, half a cup of sour cream. And again, as I stated before, the next thing is the kicker, which is going to be a half of cup of mayonnaise. That was a surprising element for me, but it works. It definitely works for us. Okay, guys, so the only thing else that we have to do is put the lid on, and we're gonna cook this. The recipe calls for 4 minutes. All right, I don't put it on for 4 minutes. I put it on for about 2 minutes, maybe 2.5 minutes. But I always check it and make sure it's where I want it after those 2.5 minutes or so. All right, so we're simply just gonna turn on the pressure cooker on high. All right, and we'll get started, and we'll be right back with the finished product. Well, it won't be finished. I'll have to add the other things to it, okay? All right, guys, so as you can see, everything is incorporated well. I've taken the lid off. You can see down here, everything is incorporated well. So now it calls for 16 ounces of Parmesan cheese. And it calls for, let me do all the Parmesan first. The first bag was 6 ounces. And so is this one, so that's gonna be 12. I'm gonna be a little short, and then it calls for 8 ounces of mozzarella cheese. So we're gonna mix all this up in here. Get it all nicely incorporated. Lovely, lovely. All right, guys, there you go. Spinach artichoke dip, and I'll come back with some finished pictures, okay? All right, BF fam, so here we are, perfection in 2 bowls this time. We have our chunky guacamole here, perfect, nicely seasoned. And then we also have our spinach artichoke dip with our nice blue corn chips here, our purple corn chips, for a little healthier touch. You know me and healthy. But in any case, hey guys, perfection in the bowl. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe to the video, guys. And also, don't be afraid to share it. Now, as you remember when I told you earlier in the video that I had a special surprise coming up, basically a surprise announcement. Hey guys, I'm starting another segment. It's gonna be called Bars. Now, this is gonna be more so affecting the beats part of Beats and Feast, but I'm gonna be doing, it's gonna come shortly. I don't have a time frame usually, probably about 3 weeks, maybe a month from now, but we're gonna have local artists coming in. They're gonna be either rapping or singing, or it just may be good talents that are here in the city. I wanna give them a focus. I wanna focus on the talent that are here in this city. It might be people from out of the city as well, but this is basically just talent. But in any case, be on the lookout for Bars on Big Tone Beats and Feasts. Signing off. Peace.